everybody, Laura Lawrence here. Today I'm going to be talking about scrapbooking. I love scrapbooking. Maybe I'll start by just lifting my camera up. How about that? So I haven't done a lot of scrapbooking in my new scrapbook space yet. I've been mostly editing my videos for the YouTube channel that I've been starting to go along with the blog posts. But I love scrapbooking. I've done it for over 20 some years. I used to sell with Stampin' Up. And I loved Stampin' Up when I first started. It was great. They eventually did get out of selling a lot of scrapbooking materials, and my maternity leaves were over, and so I kind of just slowly let go of that. Life got busy with the kids, and I'm just sort of getting back into scrapbooking now that I retired. I started going to a couple of retreats with friends when I had more time, and one of the ladies, Trish, sold Creative Memories. She gave me some free money because I had brought some friends with me, and as an incentive she gave me a little bit of cash. So I went to the website, looked in the checkout bin, checkout box, and I had $300 worth of product sitting in my cart, and decided, you know what, maybe I should think about selling this stuff. So I did. Anyway, it looks like my sister is calling me on FaceTime, so I'm gonna pause. I'm back. Okay, so I wanted to show you first just some pages that I have been working on for my scrapbooking, because I don't remember now what I was talking about before, but I scrapbook. Anyway, most recent pages that I've just finished is this page here. This is a kid I grew up with in the neighborhood, and his mom and sister and his family down here, Dr. Thenis. He was the optometrist in Shaunavon where I grew up. And he, Garrett, runs a Harvest Eatery in my hometown and has done very well for himself. And he's won a number of awards, and he got to represent Saskatchewan in the Canadian Culinary Championship. So it's a pretty big deal. It was in Ottawa, and so because I live here, I thought, okay, let's go support the hometown peeps. So yeah, it was a really fun evening, basically. It was like, once you pay for your ticket and everything, then all the booze and food is free. So anyway, I used the Creative Memories jumbo cutting to do a circle. So I cut twice to get a little edge going here. Took the circle out of the middle of this part, and then on the opposite page I used the cutout of that circle as the background here. So the whole thing put together is a little bit retro, I think. It looks kind of funky. I love it. This is my good friend Sasha that I took because Jay, my husband, was sick that day, so I couldn't go. But more importantly, what I wanted to show today was beginning scrapbook page. And so yes, I have done this layout. I call it a double page spread when there's two of them that go together. But I still have more photos in this theme from the evening that that's upside down, but from the evening that we went to. And I think I have enough good photos that I'd like to make another page spread. So while I was chatting with my mom and sisters on FaceTime, I started cutting some of those photos. And so I realized that I had a number of photos of Sasha and I, just selfies like this. And so what I thought is, I'm gonna cut all of those pictures the same size so that I can line them up on my page. So I just sat there with my trimmer and cut off the extra cropping stuff that I didn't really need to have. And so then when I get my paper, I'll see if they fit. Then I had a series of photos of my friend Sasha posing like this, because it was it was really a fun night out. So we were hamming it up and just having a great time. And if you ever need a good girlfriend to do something like that with, she's your gal. So then I cut these two also the same size and thought, like, I may not overlap her head that way, but you know, something like this. We'll see what happens on the page. Then I had a whole bunch of other pictures that I thought I could do smaller. I was hoping to do squares, but like the food ones would have worked as squares, but the wine one would not work as squares, and this one wouldn't work as a square. So I just am going with some smaller rectangles. And again, I'm gonna see if those fit on my page and what I can do with them when I get my paper out. Then I didn't cut a few because I'm not sure how much more space I'm gonna need. So I've left a few others that I think are kind of cool. and we'll see if we need those as I make my page. So after I have my photos ready, what I did is I went through my paper and tried to find some papers that match. So I'd used 2 different shades of brown when I was on the other page, so I took out 2 of each just in case. And I had a shade of green, couldn't seem to find anything that matched in the 12 by 12 size, but I found this, which is pretty close. I'll look through my 8.5 by 11s and see if there's anything identical, depending on what I decide to do. So my next step is going to be to lay down my papers, put my photos on top, just start kind of laying around and seeing, just seeing what I see. So all I've done is taken what I had trimmed. So we call that cropping a photo. So if I, for example, had a picture like this, the people in this photo, I don't know. I don't necessarily need them there. It depends at this point if I need a picture this big, or I could crop that whole top part off and just have like a bottom tiny little strip potentially, and you know, decide what I want. So I had cropped all these photos because I knew I kind of wanted 3 of us with the selfies. And then I had the 2 of her like this, which I think I'll matte, which means I'm going to put them on a colored sheet of paper like this so that they stand out a little bit more. And then I've got this picture at the bottom here. I could crop all this part at the top off because I don't really need that, but it looks kind of cool. It's part of the logo and stuff, but again, I don't really need it. But if I don't have it there, then what am I gonna put? Because all of a sudden this will come up like this, and then there'll be a space at the bottom. So I might put some journaling there and crop that, so we'll see. Then my second page, right now I have something like this. So I have some small pictures up the side. They don't quite fit, so I'm gonna have to trim, but I can trim a little bit off the white ones. They won't be quite even. I'm okay with that. Again, I probably need to put some kind of matting under here. Looks like I've already trimmed a little off this photo because they're not quite matching, so I may trim a little bit off of this one so that they are the same size. And then this one's just got some cool plating, so I may make that pop. I can decide if I want to push it over, then I can put some stickers here or something to decorate it up. So once I have my photo sort of laid out, I just have to keep deciding, what do I really like? What do I want to do next? Where do I want to add some other pops of color? And all these sorts of things. So that's going to be my next step. I want to matte this photo in cream. I just matted this one below here. I'm going to use some adhesive on the back. And I'm going to just stick it right in the corner and leave about the edge that I want to have in the actual picture. And I'm going to get my cutter. And I'm just going to sort of guess, because that's the way I roll. I don't like measuring and making sure everything is perfect. We'll see if it bites me in the ass. For how do I know how far up to go? This part here is where the blade is in the middle here. So I know I'm giving it a little bit of extra over the top so that I can cut that part after. I'm gonna rotate this. I didn't want to cut through my whole page, you see. Now I'm gonna do about the same here, try to guess about how big it's gonna be, and just need to go to where that middle part was. And sure enough, it comes right out. My guesstimate was pretty good. I've gotten good at this. Lots of my friends measure because they need to, for their own satisfaction, make sure everything is straight and perfect. I'm sort of a guesser. That's just how I do it. So if you're a measurer, you go ahead and measure and do whatever you need to do, but I can't teach you that part because I don't do it. So now I have to decide if I'm using this whole photo or cutting it. So if I cut this off, am I going to like it as much? I think I could cut it off about there, and then I'll have a little bit to say about the day. I already said that on the other page though. Maybe I'll just, yeah, I still think I can cut that off. Don't really need it. it. Now I have to decide if I want to leave it on the green. I could put this up and just write right on here probably, or should I put this in cream, or should I put this on brown? It's all personal preference. That's the fun thing about scrapbooking. It's artistic and creative, and you get to decide. It's just like this. Do I want these to go side by side? Nope, because they're not exactly the same size, so I want them off kilter a little bit, but I could put them this way, or I could decide if I want them, you know, like this. I've got all kinds of choices and options here, but I want it to be a little cleaner. So I think I'm gonna do it something like that. No, like this is how I had it, I think. And I've got some room for some stickers here if I want. I could put her name at the very least because I haven't given her credit anywhere yet. I think I'm gonna mat this photo here. At this point, this is what I got. So I mounted this one, or matted it on brown, these two on a cream. Didn't end up having tons of space down here anyway by the time I matted it. I've got some space up here to do with stickers, but what I'm seeing here is I've got a little bit of overlap. So I'm gonna just trim this off so that my page will fit nicely into my album. And then I've got to see if I have some stickers or other things that I want to put on here to just embellish it up a little bit. I decided I'm going to put some journaling here. So I have this old template from Creative Memories. And I'm just going to put some pencil lines there so that I can get my printing straight. And then I'm going to grab a fine tip black marker. Actually, I'm going to write in pencil first what I want to say, and then I'll go over it with marker after. All right, finishing touches on this page. I got some journaling up here. I put some little embellishments on, just some gold Bing balls that I had found actually at Dollarama. Then I put a little arrow towards Garrett so I know where I'm looking in that photo. And then I just found a few stickers that I thought kind of match, that help fill a little bit of the space, and I'm happy with that. Now I have to do the second side of the layout and try to make it match without it being too matchy-matchy. Okay, started my opposite side in the similar vein. This time I had done solid pictures all down one side with a strip of brown here. This time I'm doing smaller pictures, and I think I'll put a strip of white or green here. I'm the same as last time. I got a little bit over on the edges, so I'm going to trim this with my cutter just to make it straight. To do that, I'm going to flip it over backwards. I'm going to line it up right on the line that's here. And my cutter will just go down the edge of my paper and trim off the stuff that I don't want. And that's pretty good. If I do it too much, I'll probably start hitting the brown, so I'm happy with that. Cut a little strip of green. Just gonna put it over top to make sure my edges are all even. Boom, boom, just like that. I could have put a whole piece just underneath of here, but just to save paper, I just put a strip over top afterwards. But a lot of the time I will just put a whole piece of paper under here and have it sticking out from underneath of the photos. Sometimes that's just a little bit easier for me to do logically, but this worked perfect. Now again, I'm sort of a guesstimator, so I have two photos. This one is slightly smaller than this one, so I need to even it out. So I'm going to cut a little bit off the bottom of this photo, and all I'm going to do is line the two pictures up. Make sure when it goes on my cutter that this side is even and that they're flush against the bottom. And then again, I'm just going to cut here. Now my two pictures are pretty much exactly the same size. I didn't have to measure or do anything. It's just much easier in my mind. Now that those are the same size, I could put a piece all back in behind here, and I think I will do that with some vanilla. So again, I'll put my adhesive. Whoop. spacing. Keep the same space in between, same space at the top. Try to make sure this goes straight. Then when I want to cut it, I'll cut this side first. Make sure, oopsies. On here, there's a little line going this way. I know it's hard to see in the video, right down here. That's where it's gonna cut. I'm gonna move it over just a touch because I can't quite tell. Ooh, it's a little wide. I can trim that a little bit more. And then just go up to that space. Just rip that in half. So I've got 2 pieces of scrap. So in my guessing, this side is a little bit too wide to match the others. So I can just do a little trim now. And now I've got 2 pictures on 1 mat, and I like that, and I'm gonna stick that right there. Boom. Now I'm gonna mat this one. I had been wanting to put this here and this down here, and I could do that, or I could move this over like this, and then I have space to put something here, or opposite, of course, something here. That gives me green and green right beside each other though, so I don't think I would do that. But I can also reverse these. I could put this down here. Then I could put something closer to the top, which would be more like a title. And I don't mind that actually. I had said I didn't like the green and green together, so I can put that over here. And if this is my first page, it can still be like a title. But that's what I have to decide. Do I want this to be first or this to be first when I put them in my book, right? How do I want the layout to be? And you wouldn't believe how often I end up changing the plan about what's gonna go where. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I gotta think about that a little bit. Okay, I decided I'm gonna stick with this, and I'm gonna put a journaling in here. So again, I don't like measuring, I just eyeball it. So I'm gonna put a line here and a line here. So my spaces should be about the same on each side. Then I'm gonna cut this and decide what kind of journaling I wanna put on there, or maybe I'll put a title, or maybe I'll put a sticker. I just have to look in my collection of stuff and see what I've got. My little bits are getting down to the bare minimum now, so I'm not quite as worried about saving them. And that's gonna, I'll flip that over because there's a pencil line there, and that's gonna go like that. And I do think I like that. So I just have to figure out what I want to put there. Okay, I found a few stickers. I was actually looking through and I found fall from a fall sticker set. This Life, which I thought was cute. I popped it up with some foam dots. Too many things going on here. Little foamies to make it stand up a little bit higher, just to give it a little dimension. And then I found this one, Food, Friends, and Thanks. I didn't have enough, like it was not filling the whole box that was here. So what I did is I popped it up, put it on brown, and then cut out the brown, give it a little bit more dimension. I think that looks okay in the end. I did like them being done in this direction, I think. And voila, basically I am done my double page spread. I put a few gold bing bongs here to match the ones on this page so that the color schemes went together. And I was thinking I could add just a couple of those gold balls to the original first 2 double page spreads as well, just so that the 2 pages show a little bit more cohesion. But otherwise I am done and I am happy with those. So Garrett, thank you for a wonderful evening. Sasha, thank you for being a wonderful partner to go out with. And we'll see you for more scrapbooking in the future. Bye.